It is 5:30. My chair was going to Zoom and do the chair over Zoom, but Caitlin's not on yet. And should I text her? Okay.
Okay. I'd like to call the November 3rd, 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, regular meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please call the roll.
Anderson,
Here.
Burton, Blossom,
Here.
Toutfest,
Here.
Smithwick Ailey,
Here.
and Bodla. Caitlin says she can't find the Zoom link. So I'll direct her to the website. Okay.
Would you like me to, you want to pause or would you like me to continue? Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Hi, I think I'm in.
We can hear you. Thank you.
Sorry for holding up the show. Thanks for waiting.
That is okay. So Charlene was able to do this Pledge of Allegiance with us and call the roll. Do you want to start in with the approval of the agenda, please?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, Caitlin, do you have the script in front of you?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's oh man. I'm so sorry.
If it works out better, Caitlin, this is John, and if it works better for you, Charlene is here, and I believe she does have the script, and she can
That'd be
share.
great.
Okay, and then we'll just have
It's
Charlene
not
continue.
working for me too. For some reason, my computer just wanted to freeze right now. So I'm sorry. Thank you, Charlene.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Caitlin. Okay, can I have an approval of the agenda, please? Motion to approve?
Yes.
Do you usually do the motion to approve? Oh, you don't? Okay. Another meeting I'm in, they do that. Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Now, approval of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? Any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Presentations with prior notice? Not seeing any. We'll move on to public hearings. None. Unfinished business? Not seeing any. We will move on to new business. Under new business, so you have a motion to approve that new business? Is that
I move to approve Resolution PZ 2021-007.
A second.
okay? May we have the staff report, please?
A link to the staff report can be found on page 6 of the printed packet. On September 16th, 2021, the City of Soldotna Airport Commission reviewed and recommended approval of the replat to combine 2 lots into 1 lot, and the city then submitted this plat for approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Wince Corthell Bryson is the applicant. The owner of record is the City of Soldotna for both parcels. Parcel number 060-34144 has an area of 0.11 acres and is lot H15. The adjacent parcel, number 060-34145, has an area of 0.13 acres and is lot H21. The combination of these parcels will result in lot H15A with an area of 0.24 acres. These parcels are zoned industrial. Adjacent land to the north, east, and west are also zoned industrial. The minimum lot size, width, maximum building height, and minimum yard standards of Soldotna Municipal Code 1710-280E are met for the industrial zoning district, which states that the area, width, coverage, and yard setbacks requirements for lots in the industrial district shall be governed by the off-street parking, loading, landscaping, building, and fire code requirements. Utilities are available, and the property does not contain land within the Kenai River Overlay District. The replat is located at the Soldotna Airport between Funny River Road and the tarmac. Legal access is off of Funny River Road via taxiway lanes. The proposed subdivision is consistent with the 2017 Soldotna Airport Master Plan. Section 1.2.5 recommends that the airport will provide up to 115 hangar spaces. These hangar spaces include things like T-hangars, shelters, executive or conventional hangars, and this would be by year 2035. Chapter 852 states, at present, there's an excess of year-round aircraft tie-downs. Additionally, the plan recommends that hangars be consolidated in a few general areas on the airport in the long term. One is the present area north of the central apron. Additional hangar space, again, things like the T-hangars, shelters, executive or conventional hangars, could also be developed within individual lease lots. The proposed lot combination is adjacent to the current hangar facilities and will be consistent with hangar development in this airport master plan. An exception to the Kenai Peninsula Borough Platting Code 2030-030 will be required as the preliminary plat does not front on a dedicated right-of-way and no additional right-of-way is proposed for the dedication. The following findings of fact are provided in support for the request of an exemption. First, the subdivision is within the City of Soldotna. Second, the lot is being created as a hangar lot within the Soldotna Airport Management Area zoned industrial. Third, the subdivision is consistent with the 2017 Soldotna Airport Master Plan. Fourth, development in the subdivision must adhere to the requirements of the zoning district. Fifth, access will be through taxiways via the main gate on Funny River Road. Sixth, the Kenai Peninsula Borough Plat Committee approved an exemption to the code for a similar airport subdivision, which was KN 2003-80, that created small interior lease lots with access from taxiways, and that occurred on September 8th, 2003. And lastly, the subdivision is designed to allow for limited controlled access to hangars. This will increase security for airplanes using those hangars. The application was forwarded to our Soldotna Public Works Department and the Streets and Maintenance Department for their comments, and no comments were received. One public mailing was mailed out, and it's the only other property owner within 300 feet of these proposed plots is the borough, and that's with the Gilman River Center to the north. The borough did not give us any comments either. Therefore, on page 4 of the printed packet, staff has provided for you a copy of the recommended resolution. So the preliminary plat for Soldotna Airport Lease Lot 2021 replat meets the standards for Soldotna Municipal Code. Resolution PZ 2021-007 has been provided for your use and recommends approval to the Kenai Peninsula Borough. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff?
No, but I'm glad that the airport is expanding. We're getting more spots for hangars.
Okay. Not hearing any questions. The public comment period is now open. Is there any member of the public who wish to speak on this item? Oh, welcome. And please give your name.
Thank you. Max Best, representing Windscore Thurl Bryson, P.O. Box 1041, Kenai. The surveyor representing the city on this particular project, and I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions?
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you. For those participating through Zoom, please raise your hand if you would like to comment. App users by pressing the raise your hand button, and phone participants by dialing pound or *9 on your telephone. Is there anybody via Zoom who would like to public comment? Okay. With no one else wishing to speak, the public comment period is now closed. Are there any commission comments? Okay. Not hearing any, we'll call for a vote, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Blossom,
Yes.
Topfest,
Yes.
Smith-Gailey,
Yes.
and Vadla.
Yes.
Okay, so that passed. We will now move on to, under new business, item B, resolution PZ 2021-008, recommending approval of this Leacock Creek, Alaska subdivision, Willingham replat. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Okay, sorry, apologies. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Move to approve resolution number PZ 2021-008.
I'll second.
Okay, may we have a staff report, please?
A link to the staff report can be found on page 21 of the printed packet. On October 19th, 2021, the city received an application from McLean Consulting Incorporated representing James and Pandora Willingham for the approval of a right-of-way vacation of a small portion of Endicott Drive. James and Pandora Willingham are represented by the applicant and are the owners of record for the parcel. Parcel number 060-270-01 is addressed as 476 Endicott Drive and has an area of 0.93 acres and is Lot 1. A single-family dwelling is located on this parcel. The vacation would result in Lot 1A with an area of 1.393 acres. And I will say, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but in the printing of the packet, or from myself to the clerks, the map was misconstrued, and so what you saw in the PDF is almost like a blank imagery, and so I printed that out for you, and I apologize for that mistake. But here is what went out to the public with the public noticing, and here's the map that I created for that. So again, what you saw in the packet was the same map, but there's no imagery behind. You just saw the Endicott Drives and the parcel lines. So this parcel is zoned rural residential. To the north is the Kenai River. Adjacent land to the east is multifamily residential with vacant lots. To the south is commercial with a fish processing facility and a retail store. And the land to the west is rural residential zoned with residential dwellings. The minimum lot size, width, maximum building height, and minimum yard standards for Soldotna Municipal Code 1710-230E are met for rural residential zoning district. The minimum lot size is 40,000 square feet, and the replat will provide Lot 1A with 60,679 square feet. Minimum lot width is 125 feet, and the proposed parcel will then have 210 feet. Maximum lot coverage is 30%, and the parcel will only have about 5% lot coverage. Maximum building height is 48 feet. Minimum setback for front and yard are 20 feet, and side yards are 10, all of which are met. Utilities are not available off of Endicott Drive, and the property does contain land within the Kenai River Overlay District. The proposed preliminary plat includes a request for a vacation of a small portion of the right-of-way off of Endicott Drive and the reconfiguration of the lot. The area to be vacated can be described as a portion of a dedicated and unbuilt cul-de-sac. The applicant provided the following justification for the right-of-way vacation request. First, the property is encumbered by an oversized cul-de-sac design that is not constructed nor is used. Property is situated between steep slopes to the Kenai River, the 80-foot Endicott Drive right-of-way to the south, and the 50-foot unbuilt portion of the Endicott right-of-way on the east as it extends to the Kenai River. The submitted application also states that Endicott Drive, as it extends north to the Kenai River, has a 75-foot radius cul-de-sac that encumbers Lot 1, Block 1, K1361. Kenai Peninsula Borough Code 2030-100 requires a minimum of 50-foot radius for cul-de-sacs in design. Current right-of-way width is 50 feet with an additional 10-foot walkway per KN 7921 for a 60-foot width of right-of-way for access to the Kenai River. The proposed vacation is approximately 1,940 square feet. This would leave the remaining cul-de-sac at a 50-foot right-of-way. The vacation of the small portion of the cul-de-sac will not create any access problems, as the lot will continue to have access off of Endicott Drive, nor will it create any access issues for the neighboring property to the east, as it has access to the platted Jan Avenue. The lot line to the north is corrected to reflect the meandering line in the Kenai River. The parent plat note states that the natural meanders along the Kenai River form the bounds of lots adjoining the river. The traverse line, as shown, is for survey computations and data only. All corners, as set on said traverse line, are witness corners, with true corners being on the extension of lot lines and the natural meanders. The preliminary plat shows the 2008 meander per KN 2009-17 for the northwest corner. And I'll pull up the plat real quick. So what we're talking about is this north west corner up here. And so that corner was taken from a 2008 meander. And then in 1979, this corner was taken from another plat. And so that was the 1978 normal high water meander per KN 7921 for the northeast corner. The surveyor utilized the most recent meanders of the river that were recorded on each side. The application was forwarded to the Soldotna Public Works and Streets Department as well as the Maintenance Department's further comment. Kyle Cornelius, Director of Public Works, has no objection to the vacation and states that the cul-de-sac radii of 75 feet is indeed excessive. 50 feet is generally good in commercial areas, and we can even get by with 30 feet in residential. This is assuming the other half can be obtained across the section line and that vehicular access is even necessary. Scott Sundberg, Director of Streets and Maintenance, also has no objection to the vacation. The city has an important cross culvert that drains part of K Beach and Endicott Drive to this area, so it would be troublesome for development in the future. 8 notices were mailed to property owners within 300 feet, and no comments were received to date. Staff finds that Slycott Creek, Alaska Subdivision, Willingham replat meets the general standards of Soldotna Municipal Code and therefore recommends approval. And the resolution can be found on page 19 of your printed packet. Resolution PZ 2021-008 has been provided for your use and would recommend approval to the Kenai Peninsula Borough. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff?
I have a question. So off to the right where it says, this is Tom Anderson, by the way, right away hereby vacated, that's kind of the area we're talking about. But off to the right of that, is that also, do they own that or is that owned by the city? Yeah, that part right there. Because it says meander line there. I'm just trying to figure out. Is that public access essentially? Like a strip?
There is public access there, yes.
Okay.
So a part of that is a 10-foot walkway, and that is on the east side of this plat, of this right-of-way. And then this is public land, and John might be able to expand on this a little bit more. Regarding the meander line, that was, so the meander line was what was recorded in the original parent plat, and that original parent plat was from 19, excuse me while I look this up.
78, I think.
Yeah, 78 or even, maybe even earlier. I have it. It was prior to 78. It was, actually, I have the plat. So we have the, so I included the original parent plat in the packet, and that's on page 35. And let me zoom out real quick. So you can kind of see right here is that natural meander line. And so this was recorded, then we can look at the date.
So
In
essentially-
78.
So essentially, yeah, public access does remain along that platted right-of-way to the east of their parcel, and their parcel does extend to the river.
Gotcha. So then that's a fact stating right away hereby vacated. Like that's already occurred and that's just sitting there vacant. So we just want to absorb that into this plat is what we're saying.
Through the chair, so they are requesting a portion of the platted right-of-way to be vacated. It's that, half moon or
Right.
eighth moon sliver would disappear, would no longer be public access or right-of-way. It would become part of their parcel. But the remainder of it would still be there.
Yep,
for
okay,
access.
that makes perfect sense.
So is this plat that we're looking at the proposed or the existing?
This is the proposed. The existing was the one from 1978 that I just showed, and I can pull that up too if you would like to have a comparison.
I was just curious, it says that it will increase the lot size from 0.93 to 1.393. Is there purchase involved in that? Or it's currently owned by the city, but now it's going to be transferred to them ownership?
Right, so if the borough approves, the Borough Planning Commission approves, and the city council approves on this vacation, then that right-of-way basically returns to the land that it was dedicated from in the first place. And so no, there is no purchase in this case.
And most of that area was, because the old GIS file was reflecting the meander line from 78, and current data shows both from the 78 replat and from that 90, or the 2008 meander line, it shows, so the bulk of the land that, the acreage that is going to increase comes from more that meander line shifting up.
So currently that property does not have it's not riverfront.
No, it is, and that's what is notated on the parent plat. That was the
Okay.
intention of the parent plat, but that was how the GIS lines were drawn at the time.
That makes sense. It's just kind of unusable right now due to the grade, 20%. That's why the meander line was there for survey purposes.
Let me pull it up.
And the main part in question is just the fact that there's that little crescent moon that they have a development on, like their driveway, and they just want to go straight across. Is that my understanding?
And those lot lines are a little bit off because we're looking at a 3-dimensional globe and we put 2-dimensional, a trajectory on top of it. So those lot lines sometimes are skewed by 5 to 10 feet, and unless we have a true survey of the land, that's not reflective. So it's my understanding that gravel, although driveway and improvements, although it looks like it's really encompassing onto the right-of-way, it might not be as bad as what it looks like.
So I just want to be clear on what we're actually talking about. Is the little crescent part, we're making that straight down, connecting with that, and that's it. Everything else is already there the way it is, right?
Yes, if you go back, Jen, to the plat itself, the little crescent piece is currently part of the right-of-way that exists.
Right.
And they are requesting that piece be vacated, that essentially, and if it becomes vacated, it would become part and parcel of their land. So it's only that tiny little sliver that would be vacated and would be turned over or become private property. The remainder, which is everything to the right of it for the next 50 feet, would be, would still remain as dedicated right away.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? This is Caitlin.
Sure.
I was just curious why there was a cul-de-sac put there in the first place.
This is John. I don't have an answer to that. Not really sure why that would have been placed there. Did you
No-
find
No
anything?
comments were made, indicating that either.
Are there any other questions for the staff? Okay, not hearing any. The public comment period is now open. Is there any member of the public who would wish us to speak on this item? Hi. If you, excuse me, ma'am, could you press the button so we can hear you? Yeah. And please give your name again. Thank you.
My name is Pandora Willingham. My husband James Willingham and I own the property, and we're the ones that submitted for this replat. Our representative, James, is not here, the surveyor we hired through McLean, but if there are any questions, I have lots of homework, so I'd be glad to answer anything.
Is the goal to just increase the size of the lot?
The goal is to just get rid of it because we've never understood where it was. We purchased 3 years ago, and well, in late November of 2018, and I went to the Kenai plating on the same question as we were talking about with that meander line and to the river, and they pulled out the old survey for me and said, yes, you do, because the notes on the plat, the survey plat, the original survey plat says you own to the ordinary high water mark. But the cul-de-sac, I never quite understood. We went with, we have our paperwork and everything from our disclosures from the previous owner, which said no to all encroachments, easements, anything. So we went with what they said. But I did not know, we did not know, and do not know exactly where that cul-de-sac turns on the property. And we felt like to keep from being in violation, we should try to get rid of it. And it does come very close to the house. I don't know.
When you purchased the land, you didn't have it surveyed?
We did not have a survey. No, we did
So
not
you don't
a
have
survey.
title insurance on the ownership of the
We
land?
did not use a bank.
Interesting. So you knew you were only buying .93, but you thought you were getting the 1.4, is that?
No, we thought we were buying the .93, but I did not know that that did not include. I'm assuming that with the GIS that maybe the city and the borough have not been counting that as part of our property from the meander line to the actual ordinary high water mark. I don't know.
But the high water mark isn't really the issue, right? It's the crescent that you're
Correct.
to claim.
But I'm not sure if that, it seems like quite a bit more acreage than I would assume that little cul-de-sac is. I don't know.
It is, that cul-de-sac's only 1,900 square feet, so.
Which is the quarter acre, is that?
Doesn't increase the
Or
total.
almost a
It
half
should,
acre,
it doesn't
says.
increase the total that much,
Increases by
does it?
over a half acre. I believe.
Right.
The acreage seems like a lot for what it is. That's why I was thinking it was
That's
like down to the river.
Exactly right. I think then it maybe we have not been given credit for our, and neither did the previous owners who had it for over 40 years. I don't know that from the meander down to the ordinary high water mark has been on the tax rolls, to be perfectly honest. And that might have been the reason the previous owners didn't pursue this.
Yeah, it looks like 92 feet from the meander to the actual water line on the left-hand side
Mm-hmm.
of the one drawing, Jen.
You're right.
So I would assume, yeah, if you figured out the area of that, that's probably your extra acreage right there is why it's so much more. I highly doubt that Crescent is that much acreage.
Well, it's just in the verbiage that the documentation is saying that the simple vacation of this little crescent is increasing the acreage, is transferring acreage from the city to the party. I guess, that's what I'm trying to understand, of like
Well, and for the
almost
same
a half
reason,
acre.
yeah, you brought it up for price. I was thinking like they were going from the Meander line all the way to the river, all that, plus the Crescent. I was like, that's a lot of property.
So I don't know.
But if it's only the Crescent, like, I
I
don't,
feel like we don't know what we're looking at because there's no survey.
that's what I need to make sure, yeah. If it's just the Crescent, I mean, make it, who cares?
I guess I feel like there's two things, like, vacating the right-of-way is one thing, but it's not showing they don't know the property lines that they purchased.
We know where Three Corners are, but I do not know the one where the Half Moon is because I don't know that there ever was one set because that that would have put the corner marker, which would have been a witness point, down the side of the bluff.
Yeah, this action before you is solely for the vacation of that portion of that cul-de-sac. It has nothing to do with the remainder of that lot or how it's depicted or how it's taxed or what the borough assessing department, how they're treating that property. It's solely for this small portion of the cul-de-sac. And that, as we have, is, you said 1,900, or 1,940 square feet is the area
Right.
of that cul-de-sac that would be vacated.
That's correct.
And that equals a half acre? Okay, just number 4, number 4 of the proposal is probably inaccurate then. It's confusing. Number 4 of the resolution says that their former lot they currently own will increase from 0.93 acres to 1.393 acres. So it's showing a transfer of a half acre, but we're looking at this little crescent. So it's like we're talking about two different things. They don't seem like they line up.
Well, I guess.
Vacating the right-of-way seems simple,
Right.
but are you actually transferring?
I think what this is the 0.93 acres is taken from the current Kenai Peninsula Borough, what they have in their assessing department. The 1.393 acres was calculated from the survey that was completed by McLean. And so with that survey, that's why it seems so much greater. It's because, again, what's on file, and so what's on file is in the map right here. This meander line was reflective of what was drawn in 1978 and not actually what is current. And you can see that even in the parcel to the very far left on this map too. They also have that old meander line from the original plat. And these ones right next to it, the 3 ones to the west, these 3 parcels have been replatted. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's why you're seeing this kind of jigsaw look of the meander line and the parcel lines, is these ones just have been replatted more recently, and the other ones were the original plat. Does that make sense?
Not really. So the turquoise line is their meander line, but the black lines on everyone else's are the meander lines? Is that what you're saying?
Right, and that's the property boundaries that were depicted.
Yeah.
And so if you look at the one that's on the very far west, this one on Endicott with kind of this double driveway, I don't know if you can tell.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they
so
have a second line that's farther up.
yeah, so that property line is more with what you would see for what's currently there at 476 Endicott. And our records have the replat for their neighbors in between. And so those replats have occurred more recently, and the surveys then are reflective of that change of the meander line. Does that help at all?
I'm not sure. I just feel like there's an error somewhere in the size of the land.
I think it's the math, to be honest with you. I just did the area of a square foot, and it's .043, and then I did the difference of the acreage, then it's 0.43. So I'm thinking somebody forgot a decimal somewhere, but I could be wrong.
So just the cul-de-sac area is a half acre, just that little crescent?
No.
No, it's
Not
less than
even
that.
close.
And
1,900 square feet is
Yeah.
0.043 acres.
Okay, so the math was probably wrong here, so it's probably
think that's-
increasing
Yeah.
to
I think that's the
0.97
problem.
acres.
so what,
That makes more sense.
I have a suggestion, if you're willing to entertain it, it would be to then maybe modify, make a motion to modify item 4 on your resolution when the time comes, that would just basically say that former Lot 1 becomes Lot 1A and increases by 1,940 feet, and leave out the,
Yeah, that makes more sense.
okay.
Otherwise, otherwise they're going to also get taxed on, if that's official in some way,
Right.
then they suddenly own 1.4 acres, and maybe they don't, if it's really only increasing by that crescent, which is what I understand we're trying to approve.
So it'd be like 0.97, not 1.393.
Yeah, that makes much more sense. Okay. Yeah, you look at that little crescent.
Yeah, I would just make sure everybody's math is all correct. Because a half acre is,
It doesn't make sense, like
That's
there's
almost twice the
something
size of
else,
a town
there's
lot.
something else there going on if it increases by that much.
So I'll call for a motion to amend then.
Move to amend resolution number PZ 2021-008.
second?
Okay. And just ask for unanimous.
Well, and then we'll say that I think we need to make mention of what the amendment is.
I'm having a hard time hearing.
And so you'll, the amendment then would read, former Lot 1 increases in size of 1,940 square feet to become Lot 1A.
So want me to move to amend that again?
Yes,
The
if
verbiage.
that meets your needs, one of the commissioners would need to, if that's your desire, then, yeah, make that amendment and state it that way or something close, and
Okay.
then a second would be needed, and then discussion.
So I move to amend resolution number PZ 2021-008, item 4. I move to change that to former Lot 1 becomes Lot 1A and increases in size by 1,940 square feet in area.
And I second.
Okay, now we have discussion. Any discussion? Caitlin, can you hear us?
No, thanks.
I couldn't hear. Caitlin, I couldn't understand you. Could you repeat that, please?
No discussion.
No discussion? Okay. I think that's what I heard.
Comments.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to, now do we vote on that amendment? Okay, so we'll take a vote on the amended motion to the resolution 2021-008.
Anderson,
Yes.
Blossom,
Yes.
Topfest,
Yes.
Smithwick Ailey,
Yes.
and Vadla.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Now, do we have public comment on the amended motion?
You can, if there's no, you can call for additional comment. If there isn't any, then the public comment period can close, and you can finish this item on the amended motion.
All right, any other public comment on that item?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody online have any public comment?
I see none.
Okay, so with no one else wishing to speak, the public comment period is now closed. Are there any commission comments? Not hearing any, we will call for a vote on the amended resolution.
Anderson,
Yes.
Blossom,
Yes.
Topfest,
Yes.
Smithwick Ailey,
Yes.
and Vadla.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Now we'll move on to public comments without prior notice. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment? Is there anybody, remote attendees wishing to comment?
I see none.
Okay, not hearing any. The public comment without prior notice is closed. We will move on to informational items. Not seeing any. We'll move on to reports, and we have mayor and council reports. Council member Parker, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and we are also joined tonight by Mayor Whitney. Few items to report. As you are aware, the city has been working on the riverfront project, and the council did approve submitting the grant application to EDA, $350,000, and then there will be a match from the city that's already been included in the budget should EDA approve that grant application. One item I wanted to bring you up to speed on is we have been, for the past 6 months or so, been working to get a representative from the city of Soldotna on the Borough Planning Commission. We had submitted a name to the mayor, and the mayor chose not to submit that person's name to the assembly. We did re-advertise and got applications, additional applications for getting on the Planning Commission, the Borough Planning Commission, and the council will be taking that up at our meeting next Wednesday, and then hopefully submitting that to the mayor and the assembly for their consideration. So stay tuned, but hopefully here within the next month, the city of Soldotna will finally have a representative on the Borough Planning Commission. We had a report at the last meeting from Soldotna Chamber, and a couple of great things that were brought up was that in the second quarter of 2021, the city set a new record for taxable sales. And based on what we've been experiencing for the past 18 months, to set a record like that within the city is something, shows the work that's been done to highlight the city, improve the city, is paying off. And then second is that for 2022, the Levitt Foundation has already approved the city's grant for the music festival for next year. So that will be year 3 for Music in the Park. So that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Not hearing any. Thank you. And we will move on to the city.
Oh, I forgot one thing.
Sure.
We also we are in the process of advertising, and we'll be hiring in December a new city clerk. Our city clerk has accepted a job and will become the city clerk for the city of Kenai.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And the mayor? Mr. Mayor, do you have any comments since you're here?
Just add something to the Vice Mayor's report. There is an ordinance up in front of the Borough Assembly. It's been introduced. I'm not sure when the next public hearing is going to be on it, to kind of clarify the appointment process for someone to the Borough Planning Commission. So that will be coming up here very soon. The city has a resolution in front of us at the next meeting supporting that ordinance. Because it does a lot to clarify what's going on and hopefully solve some of the issues that we've run across here in the last 6 months. And the other thing is, I haven't been to the meeting for a while, so I just wanted to thank everyone again for all the work you do, and it's very important, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, city manager report. City manager Queen present. Not seeing her. We will move on to the director of EDNP report, associate planner report. So economic development planning director Cerneski.
Right on.
Okay, good.
Thank you. So I just have a couple short things for you. One is, at a previous meeting, someone was asking about the DOT's project between Sterling and Soldotna, and we're wondering about the construction dates. And the latest prediction is 2027 for construction. That's a tentative date. They were talking about doing right-of-way acquisition in 2025, but it's all dependent on money and whether federal funds are available. So that's the latest there. We are unsure whether we're going to have a December meeting. You may get notice later that we may not have it. Just depends on activity. And it's also possible that that meeting would be shifted by a week to accommodate the council. So we'll keep you posted. We still have a planning commission seat open, so if you know of folks that would be good candidates for the position, please let me know and I'll reach out to them or let Jen know. One other thing I want to share with you is the Shop Local program is returning to Soldotna. If you haven't already seen it, that'll be here. And I believe it runs November 15th through December 15th. So Shop Local. And that is all I've got. So thanks and have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Associate Planner Hester?
No comments.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on to commissioner comments. So we will start with Mr. Blossom.
No comment.
No comment.
Tom?
No comment.
Caitlin?
Thanks for running the meeting.
Okay, and then I guess myself, you're welcome. I'm used to chairing a different type of meeting, so bear with me as I stumble through that. And I don't have any comments, except for the Shop Local program starting up again. That just sounds fantastic. So that's all I have. And now we adjourn. We don't have a motion to adjourn, correct? We just adjourn. Okay, we are adjourned, everybody. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.